Let's chat about Ulster then. And the first question to ask you here really is, what the hell happened there?
It's a really interesting one, and like in France, I always watch the team if they lose at home, right? Because losing at home is a body blow. It's how they react the week after when they're on the road. And I know Ulster didn't lose at home, but the nature of their loss to Leinster, being in such a commanding position, the way it was one-way traffic, it felt like a potential body blow. And like there's certain losses that can scar you mentally. And the worry for me was, did that, like, I don't know how Ulster would have got on that bus. I don't know how they would have felt about themselves because, they went down to, I know they lost to Leinster previously up in Belfast, but there was probably reasons they could have found, the weather, they were trying to play a different type of game, etc. It wasn't as convincing as that game, and obviously the fact that they had a head start, etc. So, and a numerical advantage. So, the reality is it looked like it completely fucked with their heads. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the worrying thing for Ulster. And now they've La Rochelle coming to town. I think they'll be better this week. But wow, it's been a horrendous 2 weeks for them. And look at they're second in the URC. Only two teams have beaten them this year, Sale and Leinster. But yeah, they character-wise, there's a massive question mark about that group now. And they don't get an easy, Zebra or the Lions this weekend at home. They have La Rochelle coming who respect this competition, and this is fascinating. I think in some ways I can understand how the Leinster game affected them going into Sale, but there'll be no excuse if there's not a reaction. If there's not a reaction this week, and that, I don't think what happened against Sale should have happened. I think they're better than that for sure, but this week is going to be so interesting from where they're at point of view.
It's an absolutely huge game, and I agree with you. Like the dynamic following those two defeats is really different in a fascinating way, in the sense that after the Leinster game, you couldn't have questioned Ulster's character at all. They were just beaten by the team that we know are marginally better than them, and it was an absolute sickener for them. They might have gotten on the bus and questioned themselves or their own collective ability, and just realised maybe for the moment, no matter what they do, they probably can't get past Leinster for the moment, right? But then after a defeat like the one to Sale, it probably changes the picture to them, where it's like, oh, so now everybody's questioning our character, right? And you've got your European season ostensibly on the line against the champions at home. So as much as you could be mentally scarred by that Leinster defeat, you could also like propel yourself to a transformative victory in only a fortnight later. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
what we're like when we're saying when we're discussing mental scarring, it can heal quite quickly with just the right type of result.
No, of course it can. And look at they're back in Ravenhill. There'll be a lack. Some of the trust from the Ulster fans will be diminished a bit, and they got to rebuild that. But still, they'll go there, and they'll roar their team, till the end this weekend, and that will help them. European champions coming. They won't want to be just embarrassed again, but still, as a pundit, as an outsider, you have to I suppose question where they're at now. Is this block, have the last two games basically put into question their ambitions to win trophy this year? You know what I mean? And even if they paper over the cracks and put in a performance against La Rochelle and maybe win, when it comes to the crunch later on in the year, is there critical areas of their game or the makeup of their team that means they're ill-equipped to challenge the top teams, and this sounds terrible, but Billy Burns, more so for the game against Leinster, you have to question it. I have to ask the question: is he going to be able to steer them to a trophy? And I think that's the reality of Ulster. Is they have to be judged on being able to win a trophy. You know, and it's not easy. You know, it's not easy. But like last year they blew a golden opportunity with Leinster obviously having slipped up. You know, to go to a final in the URC and potentially win it, and that's the I think Ulster are good enough to be thereabouts for a trophy, you know, and they have been close enough, to be honest. But yeah, that it's harsh to put it all on Billy Burns. I'm not trying to put it all on him, but that's one of the examples of a personnel thing, you know.